Good afternoon, everybody. It is Meteorologist Ainsworth Forecast, guys, and welcome back to the video. Hope you guys are all enjoying your wonderful Tuesday afternoon. Today's going to be a bit of a different video. This is actually be another video on, we're going to be doing a video on possibly a snowstorm that could be forming a couple days before Halloween and maybe even bring a snowy Halloween for some areas out there in the Midwest. This snowstorm has been showing that for the past couple of weeks, but I just didn't think it was going to be that accurate or stay like that. But it actually has been staying here for a couple of days, which is showing at least a bit more of a chance of it happening. We do have some threats for maybe even blizzard conditions for Halloween out there in the Midwest, too. It could be quite a crazy system. And the European GFS are showing complete opposite results with snowfall and even the radar. So I'm definitely gonna have to be showing you guys detail wise, so you guys can have exactly what could happen in between. We could have a lot of snow, or maybe not even snow at all. So this is why I'm posting ahead of time, so you guys can get maybe a bit prepared to have an idea exactly if it's gonna be cold or not, or whatever. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe, guys. It really means a lot when you check out my channel, and also it really means a lot when you support my channel. Also, be sure to hit the like button if you really enjoy the video. And also, if you have any comment or any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So here we are looking at the National Weather Service right here for any active alerts. I'm just going through this so you guys can just see exactly what any active alerts you have in your area or anything that's close to your area. We do have windstorm watches in effect near the Denver area and near Colorado Springs. And we also have windstorm advisories for the Wyoming and South Dakota border. That's where we could have maybe a couple inches of snow with some more another mountain snow. We could have a snowstorm possibly later this week, but not going to bring a huge amount of snow. I want to focus on this Halloween one. If it gets big, if it becomes a big of a deal, I'll post on this snowstorm tomorrow. We still have those coastal flood warnings and lakeshore flood warnings in effect for areas in the Michigan, for Lake Michigan. Again, we have those for Muskegon, for the western coast of Michigan, for Lake Michigan, or off the coast of Lake Michigan. We also, oh my God, that was really, really big. We also do have some flood advisories and coastal flood advisories in effect for the North Mitten part. We do also still have flood warnings in effect for the Fargo area. We've had those for the past couple of weeks now. We also still have these coastal flood advisories in effect also for Maryland and Delaware. For the southern Maryland area, we also do have some more red flag warnings in effect for the San Francisco area and also for the San Diego and Los Angeles area. That's where we could have maybe some possibly with some wind issues. We also do have wind advisories with the areas for the Minnesota, the South Dakota, and Iowa area where we could have some windy conditions. So now we're gonna be looking at the European radar first. I like to tend to look at European radar first for snowstorms. I just think it's kind of one of my favorite radars because it's completely different. But we're not gonna be. I wish this thing doesn't reload because I want it to be a surprise for you guys. But again, yeah, we could have a snowstorm later this week that could bring in very heavy snow for the Southwest and Texas. But the GFS isn't really showing it like that, so I don't want to make it don't want to make a huge video on it if it doesn't really become anything. So again, here we have October 27th. This is where it starts. So again, it starts right here into the Wyoming into the Rocky Mountains for Helena and Bozeman. It's actually going to get a lot bigger though. By October 27th in the evening, we do have it getting a lot more widespread, affecting many areas in South Dakota, Nebraska, even Colorado, and almost all of Wyoming will be seeing blizzard conditions possible. I know it's very far from now, but it's very possible based on the colors. Again, the GFS isn't really showing it this big, but it is showing a storm, very likely. By October 29th, it becomes a huge widespread system. This could be a historic snowstorm that goes down in Halloween, or that could go down in history if it becomes this big. And look at this. This looks like a system you see maybe in January, at maybe even December. But this is not something you see before Halloween, or maybe even before Thanksgiving maybe. It's going to be bringing widespread snow for areas all the way into Arizona, into Wisconsin. And then we have a second row that's affecting the Dakotas and Wyoming. This won't only be widespread, it's going to bring extremely heavy snow. As we go into October 30th, this is Halloween Eve. As you can tell, it's going to bring an extremely heavy mix or ice threat for the Des Moines area and also for near the Wichita area. And it gets become more widespread, affecting areas near Salt Lake City, affecting areas in Dodge City, Kansas, Denver, Lincoln, Nebraska, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Minneapolis, Duluth, and northern Wisconsin. And as we go into Halloween Day, this is where we could have the threat for a snowy Halloween right here for Minnesota and Wisconsin, maybe even the eastern Dakotas. This can bring extremely heavy snow for the Duluth area, incredibly heavy snow, even blizzard conditions possible. And that's also going to bring some snow for Minneapolis. And let me see, areas that could see a snowy Halloween could be Minneapolis, could be the Duluth, the St. Paul area, Green Bay into Iowa, and then we could have a snowy for beginning of November. This could bring in a rainy Halloween for the areas in the East Coast. It only depends if this actually happens. If it doesn't happen, there's a likely chance we could still see rain, as it still will be a system, but it shouldn't bring that much. As you can tell, it's not looking like many of you guys in the East will be enjoying your Halloween if it's rainy. Now we'll be looking at a specific radar here on the European Model 2 for specifically the Midwest. Again, we're going to be focusing on only this system. We're not going to be focusing on the ones before. So yeah, here we have the 26th, we have the snow beginning to affect areas even to Billings. We can have some snowfall there. By October 27th, that's when we have it become a bit more widespread to Wyoming, South Dakota. And again, it's not there into the really big cities like the capital, Cheyenne or anything. It's not going to really be that big. But again, we have that bringing a good amount of snow for Nebraska by October 28th. But then we have two systems coming. This was the first system that became very big, and then we have a second system that possibly connects that could bring in an extra couple hours of snow. Again, this is going to bring very heavy snow for you guys out there in Minneapolis, Lincoln, Nebraska, Central Nebraska, Colorado Springs, out there into St. Paul. We're going to have incredibly heavy rain. Snow. And this could bring in a good amount of rain. Again, guys, this snow could maybe snow the day before Halloween, but it could stick for Halloween, the day of Halloween, or October 31st. Again, you got to think about that. But as we go into the 30th of October, Halloween Eve, we have a huge threat with ice that could bring in a huge issue, maybe power outages. That would not be good, going through the streets in complete darkness. We're going to have a low pressure system that right here that's going to bring incredibly heavy rain for areas in Iowa City, Madison, Wisconsin, and other areas in Springfield and Jefferson City. Again, look how big the system is, all the way from Wyoming, Topeka, Kansas, even Des Moines and St. Paul can really see a good amount of rain. As we get into Halloween, look how much snow we're going to be seeing right here. This could be very, very heavy at times, especially right here. Duluth is right here, so this is basically the closest, really somewhat big city that's going to be getting that much snow, and then by then it should be gone. Now for the GFS model, again, the GFS isn't really favoring a huge, big storm. As you can tell, again, it says October 27th, we had a snow for Wyoming into Nebraska that is forming in the Rockies. Again, like I said earlier in the video, it's not showing a huge storm like we are seeing on the European. The complete opposite. October 29th, we have a small system ahead of time that could bring in some snow 2 days before Halloween for Duluth and Minneapolis. So these same cities will still be having snow. But this, look how small it is. October 30th, this is the system. As you can tell, it is a lot smaller because of the high pressure system. It's going to bring in some snow for Muskegon, Lansing, maybe even a little bit of snow for Cleveland, and maybe you're near Buffalo. Again, it's going to bring some snow for maybe Iowa City, Springfield, maybe even it's just a couple miles away from Minneapolis, and it could bring in a snowy Halloween for the areas east of what we're seeing with the European. It's showing that Detroit, Cleveland, Toledo, and Fort Wayne, all those areas in the Midwest could be seeing a snowy Halloween. So it's complete opposite. It's either these areas can see snow on the ground for Halloween, or actually let me do that again. These areas can be seeing a snowy Halloween. I mean, actually, oh my gosh, guys, I cannot get this right. These areas can be seeing a snowy Halloween, or it's these areas. It's a huge difference. And the snowfall totals are even bigger of a difference. And then we could have possibly, again, that's what the year or the GFS is showing. Now for the snowfall, it's completely different. The European honestly tends to show a lot more snow when it's not super close, but honestly, the fact that it's really, I just don't think it's going to be this high. But it's completely crazy that we could have a historic blizzard on Halloween. It was not the first time we see something this rare. So again, there's also that chance that it actually is true. So again, we have all these areas that can see snow on the ground for Halloween. Let me get into, this is November 1st. Let me get to Halloween Day. So this is Halloween Day. We have all these areas that can be seeing more than an inch, which is good enough for Halloween. We can have many areas in Denver. You guys can be seeing 7 to 8 inches, maybe even 9 inches to 10 inches. Areas there in Cheyenne, you guys can be seeing up to half a foot of snow. Areas up there into the Yellowstone buildings, you guys can be seeing more than half a foot of snow. Areas near central Nebraska, you guys can be seeing a just incredibly amount of seeing 8 to 12 inches in the border with Iowa, which is completely crazy. When you think of Nebraska in October or Halloween, you think it's a bit chilly. You don't think of a huge blizzard. Again, guys, this can be a blizzard, not only a snowfall or a snowstorm or a flurry. This can be a blizzard with the dark colors and the windy conditions we're already seeing there. We're already seeing wind advisories and high wind warnings. These winds could continue all the way into Halloween. Again, it's crazy though. We have huge cities that are. Let me put some dots for huge cities out here. So I believe this is where this is. We have huge cities that are going to be seeing huge threats. I believe this is where. I don't know exactly this, but again, we have huge areas, including Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Definitely could be seeing Minnesota will definitely be seeing the most amount of snow, regardless of what's gonna happen. If this snowstorm doesn't happen, of course they're not gonna get snow. But if this is what's gonna happen, or even close, Minnesota will see the most amount of snow no matter what. Areas near Minneapolis could see a crazy 20 inches or more. Exactly, 20 inches or more. Maybe even 2 feet of snow. Again, this is going to be a blizzard if this is what we're seeing. 2 feet of snow for Halloween. I can't imagine that. It can probably be in the teens. Honestly, I love snow, but I would not go out there if I were you guys. Again, you know how you guys are out there in Minnesota being crazy. And then, it's shocking me. Duluth, Minnesota, with the border of Wisconsin, could be seeing up to 26 inches. A crazy amount. If this goes up, guys, I'm honestly just going to drop the mic and be like, what? And yeah, this is the GFS. Completely different result. As you can tell, they can show Minneapolis seeing less than 2 inches. That's an 18-inch minimum difference, guys. That's 18 inches difference. That's worth maybe 4 to 6 years of my snowfall. That's a huge difference. And again, also not only the amount of snowfall, but the region that can see snow. European doesn't show a single inch for these areas into the eastern Midwest. And so we can actually see possibly half a foot of snow for maybe Billings. For a Buffalo, we can see maybe 4 to 6 inches for Erie. We can see maybe 2 to 3 inches for Cleveland. Again, these are big cities that are depending on information. We have huge areas including Minneapolis, St. Paul, Duluth, areas in Bismarck. Now, if we go east, we have Chicago, Fort Wayne, Columbus, Toledo, Detroit. All these areas are depending on what they can see. And this is not only a random day. This is Halloween at night, trick-or-treating in the cold and snowy conditions. That's crucial because you guys can get frostbite and all that. It's just incredibly crazy what the big difference is. The only thing they're really agreeing on is the amount of snow northern Minnesota will get. Again, it's completely different. They show 26 inches for Duluth, but they're only doing 5 to 7. But again, right here, they're somewhat closer. Again, GFS shows like 11 inches, but again, when they can have more than 25 inches. But again, it's just incredible. And it's crazy. It looks like we could have the most amount of snow according to the GFS. The most amount of snow we'll see here is out there in that northern Maine of Michigan. So you guys, it's crazy. I'm going to try my best to post on this, but go ahead and stay tuned for another one. And yeah, let's get this video to 15 likes. All right, bye guys.